What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is going to be Carter Cruise Season 1, Episode 5. Now, let me tell y'all something now. Those of you who watch my videos, you know I always talk about, when I talk about reality TV, I always talk about when reality meets reality TV. And we saw that happen tonight. Miss Marie learned a hard lesson that nothing is lost on the internet. Okay, let's go on and jump in this. Alright, so we start this episode off. We see Stephanie and Kat meet up. Now remember, Stephanie's mad at Kat because she feels like she lied to her about who she was going to New York with, and why are you in New York with Marie? You know I don't really rock with Marie. She mad at me right now. You know we beefing. And then Kat is sort of feeling some kind of way about Stephanie because she was like, you ain't really have time to come with me to New York, and this was something really important to me, yet you had time to go have a spa day with old Miss Nicole. Now, Stephanie comes in there with a battery in her back, right? She is ready to rumble. She is going off on Kat, and and Kat was letting her say her piece until she said something about loyalty. Kat said, whoa, 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 whoa. You want to talk about loyalty? Let's talk about the fact that you didn't have time to go with me to New York. Oh, but you had time to be sitting up in the spa, having a spa day with Miss Nicole. And Kat was like, Stephanie was like, don't do that. Don't go there. You know how important my career is to me. You know that, you know what I explained to you before we even went to New York, what was going down. Kat was like, but I dropped everything to go to New Orleans with you because it was important to you. And when I needed you, you couldn't make that same sacrifice for me. And Stephanie was like, you know, nothing is more important to me than my career. Now, see, that's where the conversation would have ended for me. And I'd have been like, oh, okay. Well, now I understand where I stand with you. You see what I'm saying? Stephanie's letting Kat know nothing is more important to me than my career. Oh, well, then I know where I stand. You know, that's that. There we go. So they talk or whatever, and as Kat is talking, she said, you know what? She said, with all of this, you didn't even ask me about my dad. You didn't even ask me about how the weekend went. You didn't even ask me how it went. And Stephanie was like, all right, well, how'd it go? Because she still got an attitude, right? And Kat starts breaking down. She starts crying. She said, I stood in the place where my father was killed. I stood there. You know, I learned things about my father that I didn't know. I found out that my father didn't just get shot and die. My father drugged himself out and tried to fight for his life, and he died. And so, you know, Kat is breaking down, and Stephanie is like, oh my God, like, that's when I think it hit Stephanie, like, damn, you know, I've really been a selfish bitch, you know. And she goes over and she gives Kat a hug, and she was like, look, I am so sorry, you know. And she says in her confessional, she said, you know what, I realized how important this was, and I probably didn't take it as serious as I should, but I get it now, and from now on, I will make time. You know, my career is still important to me, but I will make time because I get it, you know, like I understand, you know, how important this was, and how this whole thing broke down with you know, with Kat. And so they're good now, right? They're sort of in a better place, you know. Sometimes when arguments like that happen, it takes a little time for things to sort of settle back down and get back to normal. But they're best friends, and so I'm sure they've had arguments before, right? So then we have date night with Michael and Marie. They have date night. They're hooking up with Diana and Diana's girlfriend. Now, Diana said, look, when I was in jail, yeah, I had a girlfriend. Everybody got a girlfriend in jail. She said, but I thought that when I came home, it was that it was just a jail thing. And when I got back home, I was going to be back with the dudes. And then I realized, well, maybe not. Maybe I really do like girls. She said, you know, I went to jail. She said, I was with my husband for so long at such a young age. And then when I went to jail, I was locked up. And now I'm just free. I can do what I want to do. I can do who I want to do. Now, we used to call it, when I worked at the jail, and you'd be surprised because I worked at the juvenile facility, and these were the young kids. You would be surprised. But we used to call it gay for the stay. A lot of the girls would come in there. The first week they was in there, my boyfriend, my boyfriend, my boyfriend. If they stayed there long enough, they got a girlfriend, right? So we would call it, they just gay for the stay. And I think that's what she was saying was, look, I thought I was just gay for the stay, But once I got out, I realized that I really enjoyed, women. So we meet her with her girlfriend. They've only been together for like 3 months, so it's still a pretty young relationship. And we find out that she's already met her mom. And Michael was like, that's sort of serious. Like, you meeting parents, that's only 3 months. Like, that's kind of quick. And Diana was like, well, I don't see what, ain't no need in holding, waiting, or whatever. I thought it was a good time for her to meet the family. And, my mom, she ain't necessarily crazy about it, but she wants me to be happy, So, it wasn't really a whole lot, not a lot of shock value. I think her mom might just be happy that she home. You know what I'm saying? So, then we, excuse me, then we get to find out a little bit more about Michael and, because they went to the go-kart. They went to go ride the go-karts or whatever. So they rode around the go-karts and stuff. And at first Marie wasn't feeling that. Marie was like, what kind of date is this? Like, this is not sexy. This isn't cute. I'm going to mess up my makeup. I'm looking crazy. But I think they ended up having a good time. And so this was after they drove around. They were talking. And it's funny because when I was watching them driving around in the go-karts, I remember thinking, I wonder how they met. Like, I just wonder, how in the world, out of all the people in Miami, she ended up with Griselda Blanco's son, right? Well, guess what? I found out. And it's so funny because they actually started having that conversation about how they met and everything. Y'all want to know how they met? They met as a threesome. Marie and her girlfriend invited Michael into the threesome. 6 months later, girlfriend gone, Michael here. 3 years later, we got a baby. I said, oh. And Michael said, our relationship is sort of unorthodox like that. We will invite a third woman into our relationship, and I'm cool with that as long as there's honesty, as long as we're upfront with each other about what it is. It's cool. He was like, it is hard sometimes to maintain when you bring other people into the bedroom, sometimes it can be a problem. I mean, clearly you saw what happened in her last relationship. But, he said, but this is, these are things that we've done or whatever, and we're cool, I was like, we cool for now. That sounds like some foreshadowing to me. But anyway, so we learned a little bit about that. And so, and then they talked a little bit again about how Marie doesn't have a relationship with her family right now. And, Michael was like, yeah, you done met the parents in 3 months. And I ain't met the parents in 3 years. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. So the next scene that we get to is we actually see Marie meet up with her brother. Come to find out, Marie has a twin. We got a couple of twins on this show. Marie has a twin. Her brother comes in. She said, my brother never chose sides. My brother, even when my parents sort of stopped speaking to me, my brother always maintained contact with me and a relationship with me. She said, but he started to get a little distant lately. And so, so they were just meeting up to have lunch or whatever. And we start to get a little more insight as to why her family has a problem with Michael. So here's the family's problem with Michael. The family's problem with Michael is, one, he don't have no money. They said, you told us yourself that you're making all the money, that he doesn't make any money. And she was like, he's a felon. He can't go out here and get a 9 to 5. So yeah, we struggle financially, but I got my husband's back. Like, I don't understand why that's their problem if I choose to stay with him while we sort of struggling through the money situation. All right, I get it. He is a felon. He ain't just a felon. He a super felon. You know what I'm saying? Like, he is super felon. So then she says, the brother says, well, they also have a problem with the fact that he glorifies his mom's legacy. Like, his mother was a killer. His mother is responsible for umpteen murders. She was a drug dealer. Like they got out of the lifestyle, and they just have a problem with the fact that he is glorified. Like, he's using Pure Blanco to glorify the legacy that is not something he should be proud of. So we get a little bit of insight as to why the family has a problem with Michael. And I was like, those are some valid points. Like, because at first she made it seem like, well, they don't want me with him because he's Griselda Blanco's son. And I'm like, well, he don't really have no control over who his mama was. But now we're seeing a little bit more. Okay, they don't like the fact that he don't have no money. They don't like the fact that the money he is making, he's making off the back of his mother, who they feel like should not be glorified. You know, she was a murderer. And so I could definitely understand that and see where they're coming from with that whole situation. And so, you know, her brother told her, he was like, look, if you want a relationship with them, you're going to have to pick up the phone and you're going to have to call them. He was like, I'm not in the middle of that. You know, I understand where they're coming from, and I sort of have a problem with it too. But, you know, because she was like, well, you know, they're the only grandkids that my son will ever know, because Michael's parents are dead. So I really, you know, if nothing else, I want them to have a relationship with my child. That's their grandparents. So, excuse me, we'll see how that plays out as the season goes on. Then we had a cute scene when Michael took Los to get some acupuncture to try to help him realign his energy. You know, he's dealing with anger, he's dealing with addiction. And, you know, as someone who does acupuncture, I love acupuncture. And I love the fact that I know acupuncture has helped me in some areas. You know, I've shared this with you guys before if you watch my videos. I've had an autoimmune situation where I have nerve damage in the lower region of my body, and I actually had to learn how to walk all over again. And so, as someone who hates taking medicine, I was forced to take a lot of medicine. And so the acupuncture definitely helps. It helps me feel better. And I'm actually down to, from where I started when I first left the hospital, I'm down to just taking 3 medications now. One being for high blood pressure, the other 2 being for the pain. And so I could definitely see that there are some positive sides to acupuncture, to non-traditional medicine. It's not a catch-all, you know what I mean? But it definitely has helped me. And so, Los got tattoos from head to toe, talking about he's scared of needles. The acupuncturist looked at him like, really? You scared of needles? You have tattoos on your head, dude. How you scared of needles? But it's just funny how people psych themselves out about certain things. But it was a cute little scene. You know, he did do the acupuncture, and hopefully that'll help. He's just looking for some assistance and some help with his anger issue, and with, like I said, just realigning his energy with his addictions and stuff. So then we see Miss Nicole. Well, I skipped this part, but it's important. We see Miss Nicole meeting up with a girlfriend, with her best friend, and come to find out. Now, y'all remember when Nicole got into that argument with Marie, and Marie was like, Google me. If you want to look up somebody's family, you can Google me. What'd she say that for? Now, Nicole, or the producers, they done Googled her, right? And what they found out is that little Miss Marie is webcamming for dollars, honey. And she done found her webpage and everything with her advertisement talking about something, if you show me yours, I'll show you mine. And she's actually, selling time on the webcam, honey. I said, oh. So, Nicole was talking to her friend about it and basically saying, look, I got this ammunition. She said, but me, I'm not going to just come at her full on. I'm only going to bring it up if I'm forced to bring it up. But I just going to keep it in my back pocket just in case I need to pull it out. And I said, oh, boy, here we go. See, here we go. So, later on we see Stephanie and Nicole meet up, and they're talking or whatever. And I was like, okay, now this is where Nicole is going to spill the tea. But she didn't. She didn't say anything. She was just talking to Stephanie. Stephanie was saying how she's been getting a whole lot coming at her on social media after her performance at Lil Wayne's festival, that she's a hoe and she must be sleeping with Wayne. And she said, she's just getting a whole lot of backlash. And Nicole was like, before I got to know her, I believed all that too. I thought she was a hoe. I thought she was out here sleeping for tracks and everything else. She said, but now that I've gotten to know her and I realized that that's not who she is. She said, and I get accused a whole lot of times of being a hoe too. People think I'm out here sleeping with anything and everything in Miami. She said, but at this point, I was like, you know what? If they ain't paying none of my bills, I really don't give a damn what they think about me. I said, okay, Miss Nicole, I see you. And Nicole showed up. She was hungover. So she didn't have on her makeup. She didn't have on the too tight, too short, everything hanging out dress. And I said, you know what? She looks really nice. She looks really nice. So we see where lost my train of thought, y'all. So I'm sorry. We see where Diana is having a freedom party, right? She's having a I'm out of jail, I don't have to answer to nobody freedom party, and it's gonna be a girls' night out type of thing. And the girlfriend can't come, and then no guys there. So they're and so Kat done invited Stephanie because she was like, I think this is a good opportunity for us to squash everything, for us to clear the air. You know, Marie and you are, Marie and Kat, y'all are friends. This is an opportunity for y'all to clear the air and get everything straight. Now, Stephanie decides, well, I'm going to invite Nicole because I've realized that Nicole is a cool chick, and I think we can all get along and be friends. See, both of y'all were wrong. That was Diana's party. Kat, you don't get to bring a +1 without talking to Diana. And Stephanie, you damn sure don't get to bring a +1. You the +1. You don't get the +1 when you the +1. No. So they get to the, Diana then rented out a nice little suite at the hotel. They got plenty of liquor. They got food. And it's just going to be the three of them. So it was a freedom party with just the three of them. And Marie is flirting with Miss Diana. I said, Marie, you want to get a little something. You want some of that. I see it. You want a little piece of that. I can see that. I see you. And, they're there and they're playing a little girl. It was a girl talk or something. They playing a little drinking game and they getting a little tipsy and everything is cool. And so Kat finally says, I need to let you guys know that I invited Stephanie. And Diana was like, how you get to invite somebody to my party without asking me about it, right? Well, she has a valid point. Now, I don't think I'm crazy about Miss Diana, but on this one, she's got a valid point. You don't get to invite, and then you don't even say anything. Like, they sitting there getting drunk, taking shots, eating food and everything else, and you didn't say anything. You ain't say nothing until you must have got a text with her saying, I'm downstairs. Because then all of a sudden, you got something you want to tell them that she's coming. And like I said, Stephanie, you were wrong for inviting Nicole. You know that that's a contentious situation. Y'all were just setting up some bullshit. I mean, clearly, just setting up some bullshit. So, Diana was kind of pissed off about it, whatever. But at that point, I mean, it is what it is. And y'all know Marie was not happy about it. Marie was like, oh, here we go with this bullshit, right? So, they come up in the party, and Marie got an attitude from the word jump. And she's making little comments about her being not loyal and, she being a snake and, all these different things. And Marie and Stephanie end up getting into it. And Stephanie is giving it to Marie. I mean, Marie is giving it to Stephanie. Calling her all kinds of snakes and she's disloyal. And why weren't you there for your friend? And you was too busy sleeping with Lil Wayne. Yeah, I heard the rumors that you sleeping with Wayne. Yeah, that's what you were doing. Instead of going to New York with your friend, you down here sleeping with Wayne. I said, oh, Lord, here we go. She was like, what? Sleeping with Wayne? She said, what are you talking about? And Kat even defended her. Kat was like, look, I've been around Stephanie and Wayne a million times, and there's nothing going on there. Like, I don't believe that. I don't believe that rumor. There's nothing going on. And Marie was like, well, then, why would you explain, why she wouldn't go with you to New York? And Marie was like, Kat was like, look, we talked about it, we squashed it, and I'm just asking that y'all move on. But they arguing, honey. They going back and forth, back and forth. Now, mind you, Stephanie and Marie are going at it. Kat ain't saying shit. Kat's on the couch like, I'm in the middle of this bullshit and I don't want to be here. Like, that's her whole attitude. Like, you could tell that she is just over it. She is just over the whole thing. She's like, Lord, I just want this whole thing to be over. So Nicole was like, look, Stephanie is my friend now. And as my friend, I'm going to ride for my friend. And I'm going to defend my friend. So Stephanie was like, Marie, you need to watch your mouth before I put all your business out there. So, of course, Marie was like, what you talking about? Honey, Nicole pulled up that phone. Who is Miss, and whatever her screen name was, Griselda Monroe or something like that. The look of mortification on Marie's face when she realized that Nicole had just checkmated the fuck out of her. She looked at those producers. She said, did y'all know about this? Y'all knew about this? And that's when you know. Whenever they go to the producers, that's when you know the shit ain't part of the script. And Marie is hot. She's embarrassed. She's hurt. And she's pissed. And from that point on, it is over. Shoes were flying. Food's flying. Security is in there. Cat sitting on the couch. Diana was trying to break it up. You saw her sit down and take her shoes off because I guess she figured what I'm not about to do is break my shoes. I'm going to get in the middle of this, but let me get my shoes off first. But she couldn't get her shoes off fast enough. They throwing stuff back and forth, back and forth. So we see Marie in her confessional. And what Marie said was that was something that she did a long time ago. And she thought she had buried it deep enough that nobody would find it. And she said that her and Michael had talked about it, and they thought that it wasn't something that the show needed to know about, and that it wouldn't be on the show. First of all, there's no such thing as stuff being buried when it's on the internet. That's first of all. Your face was clear as day. It wasn't like you had on a mask. It wasn't like you had plastic surgery and you look different now. It's the issue, boo. Now, I don't know what the hell made you think nobody was going to find it. And like I said, I don't know if Nicole really did do some research and found it, or if the producers found it. Because again, if the producers found it and you didn't disclose it to the producers, they was probably on some bullshit too. Like, oh, you ain't want to tell us about your little webcam days? Okay, we got something for that. Honey, Marie said Michael's going to be pissed when he finds out about this. I said, oh, Lordy. And that's where it ended, y'all. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments. Peace.